Hello and welcome to our Echo tutorial here. If you want to find some more tutorials, you can always visit our website http://php.heaveninteractive.com. Let's get started here. For our Echo tutorial, we're going to talk about the echo statement. We're going to talk about outputting to the browser, using double quotes, using single quotes, and using variables with the echo statement. So echo is something that is always learned first when you learn PHP, and you'll see it in action in many sites, many templates, CMS systems, etc., etc. You're going to use echo a lot of times to just output to the browser, because in dynamic websites you often have to just send something to the browser, and that's what PHP is really good at. So let's make a new text file. I'm going to save this as echo.php. So we have a PHP block. Notice that PHP block is always with this framework. You can have multiple PHP blocks in the same document, and you'll see that a lot. You'll see them like this sometimes, right? Okay, so I'm going to say echo hello world, it's me, Margaret. Okay, I'm not Margaret, but so we have a semicolon after the statement. We have echo quotes, double quotes, that is, hello world, it's me, Margaret, double quotes, and then a semicolon. Now, if you uploaded that to your web server, I am using a local web server on my machine. So let's say that I already uploaded it to my web server, and then I find that. You'll notice that when you load the page using HTTP, you'll see hello world, it's me, Margaret, and you'll see that in the page source it has that exact string output. You'll also often see, for example, this output wrapped in HTML, because when you send output to the browser, usually you want to wrap it in some sort of HTML wrapper. So this is actually an HTML tag, and our browser, I'm using Firefox, should recognize that. So I don't see much of a change here, but when I actually look at the source, view source, we see that it has the paragraph tags in it. So you could, for example, echo an H1 tag, and if you're using templates with a CMS system, you'll often see that your CMS will output this H1 tag dynamically using a very similar method. So it says here's the header. Now we have our header, and if we look in the source, it output both of those. Here's the H1, and here's the paragraph next to it. Okay, so what about these quotes? Well, if we want, we can use single quotes for this statement, because in some cases they're interchangeable, double and single quotes. Now, if we were to use our first example, hello world, it's me, Margaret, and I use a single quote here at the beginning, notice that the colors changed in my editor. My editor is trying to tell me something. It's trying to tell me that it believes that this is the end of our statement, this single quote, because I opened the statement here, single, and now I have a single. So it believes that my apostrophe is an end quote. So that would actually be an error if I were to load the page. See, it's a syntax error. So if If I use double quotes, however, it will be fine, right? Now, that's one reason why I use double quotes, because I have an apostrophe contained within this string. So I say double quotes around the entire string. Okay, now if I want to introduce, for example, our outline says using variables with echo. So let's go back and use some variables. So let's make a variable. We'll say name equals Jane. Now I'm going to say echo, hello name, welcome to our site. Okay, if you use Facebook, it says hello your name, welcome to our site, right? So now if we look at our page now, it says hello Jane, welcome to our site. Okay, we've used a variable, and we have some of the tutorials about this on our site if you want to look up more information about how to use variables. Hello name substitutes the name variable, which starts with a $sign right here, with the name Jane. If I change this to Margaret, it would say hello Margaret. Now if I said Robert, it would say hello Robert. Bob, you get the idea. Basically, when we use a variable, we are going to use a placeholder. So in this case, name is a placeholder. Okay? Now, if I wanted to use single quotes and I tried to output this, I would have a different result. It would say hello name. We don't want it to say hello name. We want it to say hello Bob or Jane or Margaret or Robert. So when you use single quotes, literally, single quotes output literally. If you want to evaluate the actual variables inside the string, you'll see it in PHP. Sometimes we use double quotes like this. Double quotes output will substitute variables in output. Okay? So that means we're able to represent the user's name or other dynamic information only specific to that user by using variables. And variables always begin with a $sign. We'll cover variables more in a different tutorial, but when you use quotations and the echo statement and variables together, there are different scenarios. We could say hello dot name dot welcome to our site. Okay, so in this case we have one complete string, which is then combined with the name variable. That is combined with another complete string. So that will give us the result, hello Bob, welcome to our site. So you'll see these various types of output. I could say hello dot name using single quotes, right? So in this case I can use single quotes because I closed the output first and then I actually included the variable name. So here we go. Hello Bob, welcome, using single quotes. Okay, so that's a brief tutorial on how to use the echo statement. For more tutorials, please visit our site at php.heaveninteractive.com. Thank you very much.